Well, the mood, the energy this morning is really appropriate for the way that I'm feeling too. So now that the material aspect of Christmas is sort of behind us, the gift exchange, the hustle bustle, the preparations and the meals and the friends and family gatherings, let's settle down. I want to take you also on a journey this morning. Can you hear me back there? I feel like my voice is soft. Huh?
I can't hear.
You can't? Okay. I'll try to speak up.
Okay, thank you.
So let's uncross your legs. We're going to do another meditation. Get comfortable. Close your eyes. Take some nice, deep, cleansing breaths. Picture yourself at home in your favorite chair, or the place that you meditate, or your bed, wherever's most comfortable. Really feel the warmth of the fire if you have one going. Your blankets, the weight of the blanket. And feel yourself just really settle into peace and relaxation. Now I want you to envision that you're sitting on a grassy hilltop. It's nighttime and it's balmy. And in the distance you hear your herd of goats bleating and a little bell tinkling every once in a while as your herd settles into sleep. And there's a star in the distance that seems to be suspended over a small village not very far from you. There seems to be a song in the air, and the stars are quite brilliant. You feel compelled to walk toward that light. You walk down the hill and you hear the gravel underneath your feet as you're moved toward that light. As you move through the little village, ever moving toward that light, you turn corners and you hear animals in the distance. And you come around one last corner, and before you is a manger. And in the manger is a young family, a father, a mother, and a little infant at her breast. What I want you to do is feel the magic of that moment. Feel the cows and the donkeys and the sheep and the goats that are standing there, all listening and feeling this amazing magical moment that this holy infant is newly born. And now you may return. A few nights ago, it was Christmas Eve, and I was watching it snow and watching my favorite annual old Christmas movies, and I thought, you sentimental old fool, how you get caught up in the moment, how these movies really tug at your heart, how the generosity of people, the different kinds of generosity that people extend toward each other in a very special time of year. And I thought, maybe it's all fuddy-duddy, but I was reading Yogananda's the second coming of Christ, and he says that the universe, when it appoints an avatar, which means a divine being, such as Jesus, Buddha, and Mohammed, who were sent deliberately to come down to change the destiny of man, that they celebrate every year that anniversary. And that the veil is thinnest then, and we can feel the heavenly energies and love that comes through that veil at this time of year that we can't feel as strongly at other times of year. A few weeks ago we had a sing-along for Christmas, and we were singing Silent Night. And I was sitting here, and something occurred to me that the song was special, but perhaps not for what we recognized. Actually, what it felt like to me was that we were missing part of the point of that song, and that is that we are the holy infant. That little priest who was walking in the Austrian hills back in 1818 and came across a Thomas Kincaid type of scene down in the valley had these words come to him. And because the organ was broken in his church and they weren't going to be able to have Christmas music, they put a couple of chords to this little poem. And it has become the most famous Christmas carol of all time. But you think perhaps the meditation that I just took you on, I kind of just gave myself away, but it is that the story of Jesus, I think, was pointing to an underlying meaning of who we are, our destiny as sons and daughters of God, that we are the holy infant, and that our parent is a loving, universal parent, that Jesus, that's Jesus' message, was to teach brotherhood and to teach that we are part of that Christ love. I know that many of us are have an aversion to the Bible as it stands, and I can understand that. But there are many, many messages in it that we use today that perhaps geniuses like Ernest Holmes and many of the teachers that are teaching us at this very moment in time seem to have a greater understanding of what some of those passages mean, and we can take them into heart. We are here as religious scientists because a biblical scholar named Ernest Holmes used those biblical passages to help him gain a greater understanding of where we fit in the universe and who we are as the children of God. The thing is that we oftentimes have, I don't know about you, perhaps you're different than I am, but I have often found myself thinking, who, me? You know, I'm just a regular person. I have my ups and downs. I certainly have my dark side, my failings, my flaws. I am not that perfect. I mean, I'm not even close to perfect, not in that scale of things. But who's to say what perfection is? Since there's only now, it has to be now. There is no other place or way that we can get to a perfection that's somewhere down the road, because that just simply doesn't exist, does it? A few years ago, many years ago actually, I had a psychologist give me something that I have leaned on all these years, and I would like to share it with you. And you know, if you want to know, you might want to write it down. It says, "You deserve the best simply because you were born." And I'd like for you guys to say that with me, but I want you to put I deserve the best simply because I was born. How does that feel? Different, doesn't it? There's a feeling of separation, I think, that is because we're individuals, and it's kind of hard to wrap our brains around the fact that there is only God, and God is us, as us, and works through us, that because we are individual bits of that somehow our ego would like for us to believe that we're separate, meaning that we have to be suspicious of the guy next door, or that we can't trust what's going to happen, or something scary is happening on TV, or that religious group is unnerving with what they're doing, or whatever that is. But Yogananda says that when the veil thins and we are able to reach into the Christ love that is within us, that all of the components that we need to completely fulfill our lives as the spiritual beings that we are, as the sons and daughters of God that we are, then our heart opens up wide to be able to embrace and see through and past the appearance. And that's another passage in the Bible. There's a couple of special biblical passages that I want to share from my childhood days, raised as a Christian Scientist, and one of them was Daniel in the lion's den. And every Sunday when I would go to church, they had a painting on the wall of Daniel in the lion's den, and that still moves me. I still have that picture in my mind of that painting where he is sitting in that white light with all those lions sitting around him, and his face is focused on the light. It's just he's held up and he's looking into the light. And the lions seem to be, you know, relatively calm. They're not interested, obviously, maybe they just ate something. And he doesn't seem to be worried or disturbed by the potential danger that he's in. Another one of my favorite biblical passages that I lean on quite heavily is the prodigal son. You know, that no matter how misunderstood, no matter how far I've gone astray, no matter how much I've embarrassed myself, and I have pulled some boners, of course, in my life, that I'm always going to be welcome in my spiritual father, mother's arms. And that perhaps like what Kim suggested, was told the story, is that our dark side is so very, very important to us. That Rumi and the masters have taught us that the dark side, the things that we are most repelled by, are some of our greatest teachings. Those are the things that snap us back into reality and say, okay, this is not the path that we need to take. It's a little too scary down here, and I'm going to take a different one. I've had enough. I'm good. One of the other ones is in Romans. And I'm getting this from, I have completely lost my place. Hold on a minute. Well, it's in here somewhere. But Romans 8 says that we are heirs to the throne. There are all these wonderful passages, including Philippians 2:5. It's, let this mind be in you that was in Christ Jesus. And that is this literally to be taken seriously. If we will allow ourselves to just, Yogananda says, to meditate, and suggested that, which is something that today, because the holiday is sort of out of the way, will you take the time today to spend some quiet time with yourself and focus on the Holy Infant, focus on the message that Jesus came to give us, focus on your divinity, and open yourself to the possibility of what is there once we allow ourselves to be who we are. We can hide our faces and be the ostrich and pretend like it's not true. But aren't we always looking for, even when things are darkest, we know that the universe is going to save our butt. We are always looking around the corner for the miracles that we know are here. That the solutions that we're seeking, even though we may not like the setup, we may not like what's happening at the moment, isn't there something deep inside of you that says it's going to be okay? Recently in meditation, Spirit said, let me help you. And I did not realize until that moment that I was still slinging my Superwoman cape around, thinking that I could manage it all, because that's basically what I've always done. And I'm like, okay then, you're on. Okay, we'll be the Footprints poem from here on in, and I'm going to let you carry me for a while. I'm pretty tired. And the thing is that it has been an amazing month. I am so deeply grateful. Actually, my message is really short today. I don't feel real well, but I just want to tell you all of this, that I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and I really inspire you to sit alone today, be quiet with yourselves, and really sit with the fact that you are a holy child of God. Embrace it and allow God's love to wash through you, and be that light that we are. Thank you.